What's going on, everybody? Welcome on Monday night. The Cajun Libertarian Live. Going to be a very fun episode. I hope very informative, exciting, entertaining, a little scary, but we have to get the word out, right? That's the whole point of this is that we get the word out. And we can affect more people. We can communicate with more people. These lights are a little bright. I will fix them in a second. It's important. It's important what we talk about on a daily basis with the people that we care about, not just on the internet, but the people that we love. Anybody that we can and have a chance to, we can give them some of these facts and projections that I think are correct and embolden our relationships and embolden our message. That's important. Big time. Big time important. So, to our headlines. I was running a little late. Sorry about that. But we are here now. Don't forget to leave me an Anchor call in moment. You can see the banner right there, anchor.fm/THE-CAJUN-LIBERTARIN, the Cajun Libertarian. So please leave an Anchor comment, call in moment. We have none so far. Tonight, I've only chosen a few destinations to broadcast to. Sorry, give me 1 second. It was just too bright for me to get through the headlines here. So let me reverse. I will only broadcast to the Cajun Libertarian, Noello Lind, Twitter, and YouTube. So that's where we are broadcasting to tonight. The reason for that is because we've had a little bit of scattered viewership throughout other profiles, and it didn't really gain any traction. So I want to try to funnel as much viewership to a few specific locations. That way we can make sure everybody's getting the same content at the same time, and it's easier for you to interact live, which is a big deal for me. I love being able to interact live. Hello from San Francisco. What is up? I just saw, okay, let me explain something. I just saw her in my YouTube comments a couple of days ago. Thank you for being here. That's awesome. I have been horrible at checking YouTube. That is 1000%. Horrible isn't the word. Utter failure. Utter failure is the word for checking YouTube. I downloaded a YouTube manager's app thing, and that enabled me to just jump right into YouTube comments. And so here I am now, and I'll be able to utilize that more often. YouTube is something that's very difficult to deal with. I'm sorry, it's not difficult. I'm laughing at this comment, right? It's not difficult to deal with, right? YouTube is very difficult to get viewers on. I don't know what that means. That one kid in math class from YouTube, which is hilarious. So, anyway, YouTube's tough. It's tough to gain traffic there. So please go like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I promise you that I will do a much better job of checking YouTube comments and reactions and all of those things. That is just an straight 1000% failure on my part. No excuses at all. Straight lazy, kind of a boomer when it comes to the internet. You would not believe how much babysitting it took just to get me right here in front of you. Just pretty astonishing considering we now have a legitimate international audience. So now, that being said, I was not expecting to go there, but we went there. Don't forget about my website, CajunLibertarian.com. You can PayPal me, Cajun Libertarian, Stripe, Cajun Libertarian, Anchor, Spotify, Apple, Google Podcasts. Anywhere you can catch your podcast, you can get the Cajun Libertarian. I personally don't watch many podcasts live, and so there was a that's awesome. There was a big push for me to want to put my content, well, and it come from a lot of outside influence as well. but it really resonated when I understood that I listen to most of my podcasts in the truck while I'm driving, doing my thing. I can't sit there and watch live. Although live, you get to engage as so many of you are right now. So many. It's crazy. This show has grown beyond my expectations already. I expect that it will continue beyond even my wildest expectations, which has already been exceeded. And so it's just crazy to me. It's wild to me. So, to our headlines that I said like 50,000 minutes ago, and I'm just not getting to. I'm sorry. I went off a little bit there, but that is a lot of good stuff there. So, tonight on the Cajun Libertarian Live, just a thought episode. Food and supply shortages are coming. That is a fact. I'm going to show you. And most of you are going to know more than I already know. Absolutely going to know. Food and supply shortages are coming. I have the receipts in my own stores. I do. I'm going to show you a graphic. And it's everywhere. They're coming. The shortages are coming. The government is intentionally creating a medical staff shortage. And how is that racist plus much more? So don't miss this. We are going to have a lot of fun tonight. There's already a ton of viewers and a ton of comments. So we're going to just absolutely have a fantastic time tonight on the Cajun Libertarian Live solo show. Just a thought. All right. Yes. Cajun Libertarian Live. I am your host, the Cajun Libertarian. Real quick, a shout out from our sponsor, Laura Province K2 Realty. I have to remove this right here so that I can read the whole thing. Laura Province K2 Realty. Your home is your sanctuary. As a second generation real estate agent, Laura Province knows the importance of helping her clients navigate through the home buying and or selling process. Whether you're buying your first home, a second investment property, or seeking that dream retirement residence, you will have a seamless experience with K2 Realty. So check her out, especially if you're in South Louisiana. Thank you very much, Laura, for sponsoring the show. All right. Before we get started on our headlines, I wanted to speak about something really quick, and then I'll get to your comments, and then we'll get into the segments and the other ads and all of that. It'll be great. But real quick, I see a lot of you are commenting a bunch. I will try to get some of that. It's not applicable. That's okay. All right, let me talk about something real quick that I've talked about at great length for I I will say for a long time, but not a long time on this show, right? It's something that I started out with, and it's kind of a mental health situation, and it's being able to address and take care of ourselves mentally. But there's a lot of elemental variance to that, like on a crazy level. It just stacks. There's so much to address in little tiny pockets of our mentality that some of the time we have to use like some blanket statement cures or prophylactics, right? Something to protect us and to help us grow mentally. One of those things that I put a lot of pride into, not just pride, but I think it's a lot of value, is being nice. I've said it before. I'll say it all the time. Being nice doesn't just benefit the other person that you're talking to, right? It benefits us, the ones that are be doing the act of kindness, the ones that are voluntarily distributing a genuine kindness and fairness and niceness. That benefits you just as much as, and sometimes, in some cases, it benefits us more. The ones that are doing that, right? Doing the thing, being nice. And so I just like to always reflect on that because first and foremost, it's a great positive on the mental atmosphere of you and the person you're talking to, and it could absolutely resonate within whatever community that they're involved with, right? They may that may pick up with them and amplify in them, and then they're being nice, and then we have some unity, but it's more to it than that. Um, you benefit, they benefit, but the way we build coalitions philosophically, um, personality wise, beliefs wise, but in this at this arena that we're talking about right here, politically wise, right? Politically wise, because being genuinely nice can help push you to that next moment to where you can have the conversation of, well, what if we could work together on changing X? Now you have an ally. Just because you were genuinely nice as a person. I say you, I mean we. Absolutely me. For sure. Right? And what this country needs is right now, what we're going through is allies. And not just politically. Genuinely. We need allies. Familiar allies. Meaning family. Family. People that we can trust and count on that is going to be able they're going to be able, and you're going to be able, and I'm going to be able to help each other out in a community because there's some real stuff headed this way that I have never seen or really thought, I think, that would come this way in this country this fast, but we'll see what happens. So we need allies. That's the point. We have to have allies. Can't build allies by being a dick. Sorry. That's just a fact. It's not going to happen. Nobody wants to work with a butthole. Doesn't matter how efficient you are. That will get you a little bit. And that's very important. That's why it's that much more important to not be a dick if you're very efficient. So, allies, we need them. Time is coming very quickly down the pike. Nothing I've ever seen before. Um, that being said, allies, 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 and even the smallest pockets of ideas. But most importantly, it's on me first, to be the example and the personality that I want, and I know people will be really sure that we can this move. And I do that, I can honestly say, not arrogantly, I can honestly say I do that every day. I do it every day in my community because I get to meet a lot of new people every day. Not everybody gets to do that. So I have an advantageous position where I get to meet new people every day and I get the opportunity every day to be nice. I also get the opportunity every day after I'm being nice to talk to them about their personal lives and point out one spot in their life where the government sucks. And I do that almost every day. I am in an advantageous position to do that. I understand. But I do it. I love it. But nobody's going to listen to what I have to say if I'm not nice first. And that's a fact. But you can take it or leave it. Just a thought. Now, to our segments next on the Cajun Libertarian Live. All right, so welcome back. We will get to a sponsor or two really quick. First off, Ashley Greer Smoot. High-end bags and accessories. Fierce Luxury by Ashley. That's fierceluxurybyashley.com. Fierce Luxury is a high-end bag and accessories assignment store based online. They carry the hottest brands like Louis Vuitton, Chanel, Gucci, and Hermes. Consign with them for a 30% less fee, 20% less than most consignment stores. Find them at fierceluxurybyashley.com. That's fierceluxurybyashley.com. And on Facebook in their exclusive group, Fierce Luxury by Ashley. That's fierceluxurybyashley.com. Thank you so much, Ashley, for sponsoring the show. Let's get to a couple of comments before we dive off into what we're going to talk about tonight. Like to talk, but you got to loose the tag in the background. Loose, Kevin? I got to loose it? He probably meant lose it. That's all right. We'll get into this, Justin. I can't wait. The supply chain shortages, they are self-made. We need to get Americans back to self-sufficiency. That is a fact. Let's see. Scrolling through your comments here. Joe, I'm not gonna, I'll put it up there. I won't repeat it. That's good, though. Yeah. Yep. That's something I need to work on. I'm a Carly. Don't be a you know what? Yes, be nice. That matters. So, let's get into it. The first thing I want to talk about, really quick, this is not politically relevant. It's just something that everybody should hear, and I'm not sure that everybody has heard it. And so, salmonella outbreak from unidentified source expands to 29 states. CDC says strain found in takeout container. So, but they don't know where it's from. But be on the lookout for that salmonella outbreak. I got some notes here. It really doesn't say anything more than that. 127 infections linked to the unidentified food source, including 18 hospitalizations. At least 279 infections have been linked to the strain, but they don't know where it's from. And so, but just obviously be on the lookout for that because that's going to make national news, I assume, very soon. The second thing I wanted to get into real quick was school board meeting canceled as crowd protest mask mandate, and I love it. This is the way. This is the way. And they make all kinds of excuses. This is a CNN article, by the way. Yeah, amp.cnn.com. I'm cherry picking from the thing here, but it's all pretty much the same. A school board meeting in Idaho to discuss a temporary mask mandate was canceled Friday due to security concerns related to the size of a crowd of people protesting the proposed requirement. Right, so 100 people attempted to participate in the public school board meeting, exceeding their maximum room capacity. So that was their reason. Like it didn't matter what the content was or why they were doing it. They because they know They know that they admitted defeat by making an excuse that really wasn't relevant at all. Really irrelevant, right? Maximum room capacity. And then they're going to go on to talk about it. It was a danger. Cops say no. And when they say no, that's not bad because they like to make their money. Anyway, I won't go into that. Let's see. 100 people attempted to participate in the public school board meeting, exceeding the capacity. That meeting was canceled short. This is in quotes. That meeting was canceled shortly after it was scheduled to being because of security concerns with the size of the crowd waiting outside. School district spokesperson Scott Maven told CNN in an email. The crowd chanted, "No more masks," and "My child, my choice." And that is my fam. So I will not apologize for it. Ever. Ever. I am. Nope. I will never apologize for being on that. We are on the right side of things. That thing, studies ain't there. They're not there. And it's all ridiculous, especially on children. Anyway, I beat that dead horse. I will never apologize for being on this side of this. Ever. All right. Employees called police because they were concerned for their safety. The police captain said it was simply a situation with people passionate about their views. Hager said, noting the crowd's signs were against a mask mandate. So, obviously, I'm cherry picking from the article here, but I didn't leave anything out of context there. I try to make sure that I do that. I don't want to try to push some sort of narrative, but there's a lot to it. You can go look it up. The police chief just basically repeats himself, saying that we showed up there. The people reported some banging on the doors about no mask or whatever, and again, we'll never get that context. But anyway, even the police backed it and said, nope, this was not a thing. School district does not currently have a mask mandate in place. Nice. So either that it was stopped with that, or they were stopping it. Either way, doesn't sound like it's going to work now. This is the way. Peaceful protest, showing up, being there. I was planning on being in mine next month. And my kids are not in school, but I was going to the school board meeting and going to go speak next month. Then they reversed it last week. It was glorious. So, win. Win, win, win. All right. Couple of things that I just wanted to hammer real quick before we get into our next real segment, which is, how is that racist? I almost did an episode where the thing that was did was racist, but I went with hilarity instead. I'll probably go with the thing that actually was racist next week, but I won't tell you that. Just going to leave you hanging, cliffhanger, so you can find out. You have to tune in live to find out how is that racist next week, to figure out what it is I'm going to do. So, real quick, to one of our last sponsors. And it's going to be Joel Gets for Mayor, which is phenomenal. Phenomenal. Joel Gets, most important question of the day. Joel Gets for Mayor of East Stroudsburg. Whatever East Stroudsburg needs, Joel gets. What is the most important question of the day? We'll go with Joel and say, do you like turkey bacon? Comment below, drive the algorithm, and answer Joel's question. He is a funny dude. I have talked to him several times. Once live here, we'll interview him again live. Absolutely hilarious. Do you like turkey bacon? Yes or no? We'll find out. Don't forget, follow that page right there. That is me. The Facebook's really harassing the Cajun Libertarian. It looks like we're gonna hang on for a little bit, but who knows? We'll see. So just in case, follow that one right there as well. I'll get it verified. It's harder for them to shut down if it's verified. Thank you. Moving on to our next segment. How is that racist? Well, let's talk about it. It's not very long. This is always very funny. Last week I did one that was actually important. That I want to get back to kind of hilarity, and I'm gonna kind of stop doing these things every week. There's a lot of content to cover that's going on in our country and around the world. It doesn't. This kind of stuff does not need to eat up every a segment of every Monday. Sorry, but we're gonna have fun with it right now, real quick, about 60 seconds maybe. So, racist milk. Is milk racist? How is milk racist? It's not. Secret Nazi code kept hidden by milk in vegan agenda, and somehow they they link the vegan folk in with Nazi milk. So, like, it's one of those things you can't even really be mad. The mental gymnastics here are just phenomenal. It's kind of impressive how stupid some people can be. That's a fact. That's how you wind up with this segment, because that's how stupid they are. All right. You may have noticed neo-Nazis getting really, really into milk today or lately. No, I didn't actually, because to my knowledge, I don't know a single neo-Nazi. That's real. You know, you may have noticed, like, no, if people are noticing that neo-Nazis are getting into milk, that's because you're telling them that. Because I don't know a whole lot of people that are paying attention to neo-Nazis. I don't know a whole lot of people that are neo-Nazis. And I can imagine through just basic math that there's not a lot of neo-Nazis. Ergo, not a lot of people are going to talk to neo-Nazis. That's common sense. First sentence. Oh, man. For the last few weeks, white supremacists have been proudly declaring that they're lactose intolerant. Okay, so why would they embrace milk? If they're proudly saying that they're lactose intolerant, why would they embrace milk for a Nazi white supremacy symbol? It's so. Look, it is very sad. This thing that it's just unreal, right? But still hilarious because they can't even get a paragraph in without being just absolutely obliterated to no nonsense. It's ridiculous. All right, so they're adding glass of milk emojis in their Twitter I'm sorry, glass emoji milk emojis into their Twitter names, but they're lactose intolerant. Okay, I don't know. All right. So the vegan agenda is believed to be code for the Jewish conspiracy. I don't even what. Gee. Although it could also just refer to any target the alt-right are against. That's the real answer. They give you the real answer at the end. None of it makes any. There's no pattern or specificity to it, right? There's no correlation amongst a wide variety of topics. It's just whatever they make it. Any target. They just make the target up. They just make the target up. And the worst part about it is there are really these people out here. I know they exist. I don't know from personal experience, excuse me, sorry. But I know they have to exist. I know that there's people out there like this. But when you call everybody a neo-Nazi, it's then nobody is a neo-Nazi, right? This is ridiculous. And they can't even keep their story straight. They have been proudly declaring that they're lactose intolerant. Anyway, how is that race? How is milk? How is that racist? It's not. Milk isn't racist. Look, if neo Nazis are using milk in that thing, then that's a handful of people, and it's ridiculous, right? It did. You can flash the OK symbol. It's been around for a long time. You can drink milk. It's okay for you to drink milk. You're not a Nazi, a racist, or a neo-Nazi just because a couple of dumb clowns on the internet decided they were going to make a Nazi thing out of it. I don't need to explain. You guys are very smart. There's no reason to explain. Anyway, how's that racist? How is milk racist? Milk is not racist. And if you think milk is racist, then you're stupid. And I have no problems saying that right there. Now to your comments. I can't drink milk. That sucks. Technically, I cannot either because it's very high in sugar. And I am a type 1 diabetic. Facebook picks up on the algorithms. Yes, 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 yes. Thank you, Janice. How's that racist? My favorite part of the Occasional Libertarians podcast on Monday evenings. Thank you. It is a very fun. It's supposed to be fun. I should make it more fun. It was supposed to be very much fun tonight. I mean, it's milk, right? Like, oh man, it would do anything to make you think you're racist. Quite anything, and it doesn't even matter your skin color, right? It just defeats the entire word of racism. It defeats the entire philosophy behind it. Like, if we really want to take care of that, then we shouldn't make everything that, because then you'll never win that battle. Not that it was a battle that was ever going to be won. It's not. Racism has been around since day one, and it'll be here till day zero. Facts. It's ridiculous. Just go live your life. Just go do your thing. If there's discriminatory action, we would love to jump on that. Hate it. And expose them. Other than that, go live your life. Don't worry about it. Just drink your milk. Really? I mean, I know most of this audience doesn't fall for that. I get that, right? But there are going to be people that don't believe the same ideology that we do. And it's good for them to hear it. Because some of the stuff is stupid as it sounds to a lot of people that don't think critically, and for a variety of reasons, a lot of which aren't an ability issue. They have the ability to do it. There's other factors, major factors at play when it comes to critically thinking. So, hopefully, people are going to watch this show that don't have the same ideology as us, and they will think for a second, like, my God, I kind of fell into that trap. And then they can branch from there, right? That's branch from there. Keep going. What we're doing is planting seeds. We're planting seeds. So, with that being said, moving on to our next order of business here. This one's a tough one. All right. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to show you a graphic. I got to get off of your comments. Sorry. Y'all talk to each other. This is going to be, I can't go into comments during this, but I will be back shortly to the comment section. That right there is a photo collage that I took or built my I took some pictures, my wife took some pictures. The top shelf is my one of my Walmart aisles in the richest part of the state of Mississippi. The bottom is the Dollar General medicine aisle in same area. And all the Dollar Generals look like this. This is very real. This picture you see on the top of my Walmart in the richest area of the state, or at least top two, is good, actually. I know that sounds crazy, but it is. This was one of the better trips that my wife took to the store because this was the only aisle that looked like that, deeming it a better trip than normal here lately. Quite literally, because it was the only aisle in Walmart that didn't look like that. I can't remember a time in my life, and I'm being straight up honest, dead honest with you. In my life, if it wasn't on the coast because of a hurricane where everybody mass bought ever. In my life, have I not been able to walk into Walmart and buy 17 houses worth of groceries ever. This is very real. And it's only beginning. I can promise you that. I can see it, the writing on the wall. It's one of those things, and everybody can. All you have to do is look at it. And we're about to dive off into a few of this of what's going on with it and why. And this is just another prime example of how the government, are literally trying to crush the economy. And then we get into later as to why they want to crush the medical system. There is you all know it. You all know it. But hopefully people are going to watch this show that don't know it. And we will get them to critically think via your comments and this commentary as we extrapolate the libertarian principles from this stuff and see what's happening for the future of this country. And it's happening fast, like fast, real fast. A record number. This is from the Guardian and Business Insider. I pulled a little bit from the New York Times, but they want you to, they got a paywall up. They want you to pay. I'm not giving the New York Times a dime. Sorry. No, I'll just get the first 6 sentences and then match it up with other stuff that doesn't make you pay that anyway. Excuse me. A record number of cargo ships are stuck outside LA. What's happening? The bottleneck this week at America's busiest park complex is the result of a shortage of trucks and drivers to pick up goods. Not done, not even close. Coupled with an overwhelming demand of for imported consumer products. Now that paragraph isn't super sexy. The reason I put that in there is to give the obvious for some that it may not be so obvious. I want to read that again, that last sentence. And there's an exact definition for this. Coupled with an overwhelming demand for consumer products, imported consumer products. Now, when there is an over demand and a lot of money in the market and in the society to give for that demand, it wouldn't be a demand if it didn't have it. That's inflation. That's inflation. Now this looks different. This looks way different because it's not technically inflation, right? You all know that. Y'all know more about inflation than I do. But it's the same concept. All this stuff is sitting there waiting for us while our shelves are empty, but we have pockets full of cash to buy it, and it's not there to buy. Right? And here's the problem. Let me not get ahead of myself in here. You all know what the problem is, but let's flesh out exactly what they're talking about. The backup of ships has grown since last week. Oh, and this article is from like last weekend, I think, by the way. There were 60 ships waiting to unload on Sunday of last week, not yesterday. There were a record 73 cargo ships waiting to enter the ports. And then later on in the week, I think like Monday, Tuesday or something like that, I heard that there were 90. And I think that's gone down. But I know that I've heard, okay, that if one ship is waiting, if one, it used to be if one cargo ship was waiting, it would cause problems. It would cause problems, like a lot of problems. And at one point, we had almost or did have 90 sitting off of the coast of Los Angeles. Here's the picture. Here's the graph, the satellite graph of last weekend or early last week. All of those ships with all of that material can't dock. How long do you think it's going to take for them to dock? That's not going to be explained in these articles or on this episode or from my brain. I have no idea. But I can ask you, following that up, how much of that is going to go bad before it ever reaches the shelves? How much are the ships that are waiting behind those? How much of their stuff is going to go bad and won't reach the shelves? This is very, very real. It's incredible. The Los Angeles Long Beach Port Complex. Let me get this off screen. Already the largest in the United States and the ninth largest in the world. Together, the ports move 40% of container imports in the U.S. and 30% of exports, and serve as a key gateway for imported goods from Asia, which is massive. All right, more inflation talk here, more inflacious uh, analogy. The Americans' buying strength is so strong and epic that we can't absorb all this cargo into the domestic supply chain. Gene Soraka, the Port of LA director, with the peak shipping period getting underway. This is last weekend as the holiday shipping season approaches. Now, remember, Kamala Harris said, get your stuff now. Now he's talking holiday season coming up. They knew it was coming. They knew it was coming. In recent weeks, the ports have been setting new records for ships in port almost daily. Traffic has been rising since last summer amid a pandemic induced buying boom. I wonder why. Because everybody was home because you shut the whole country down. It created a backlog of both ports and overwhelmed the workforce, some of whom were themselves recovering from COVID. Of course, it's incredible. I have to keep going because I don't know where we at. 45 minutes. All right. We're doing all right. We've got about 20 minutes left. Let's see. The backlog of the ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach, along with nearly every other port in the United States, has been exacerbated by the spike in coronavirus cases in Southern California tied to the holiday season. Wrong. No, they, no. It was because of your government regulations. That's why. And now you're doing the vaccine mandate, which is just going to drive all of this even worse into the ground. This is the beginning. God, I'm sorry for sounding like doom and gloom. It seems all the time. But this, there it is. I don't know if y'all could see me just now, but I had my video blacked out and started circling. So, feds are here. Say hello in the comment section. Say hey to the feds because they're obviously here at this point. Also, around 24 cargo ships and oil tankers are stuck waiting to dock off the coast of Long Island, New York, due to a surge in demand for consumer goods and short staffed ports. According to Container News, the port of New York and New Jersey serves the world's major ocean carriers. and global alliances and consists of a complex of approximately 386 kilometers of shipping channels, as well as anchorage and port facilities. This is just east and west coast. They're not being and I showed you the graphic. I'm sure y'all are doing worse. Walmart on the top, Dollar General on the left. Every Dollar General I've been to looks like that. All of their medical supplies are gone. I can't. I'm a type 1 diabetic. I can't find freaking Powerade and Gatorade Zeros anywhere. They've been gone for weeks. This is incredible. Absolutely incredible. With record numbers of huge cargo ships clogging key ports, causing a knock on effect on the global supply chain, many retailers are being forced to find creative ways to overcome shortages and price hikes. This is not going to get better. It's not going to get better. So look into it. Cargo ships off the coast, supply and food lines. Supply and grocery stores are going to start to look a little bit. Oh, by the way, Costco did announce like over the weekend or last week that they're going to start limiting sale per customer again. So there you go. That was a real thing. Look it up. Google it. Costco's doing that. You can only buy so many products per customer in Costco starting at some certain date. Maybe already in effect. I don't know if that really happened. So, moving on to our next segment. By the way, in case you didn't know, from the greatest oral philosopher, I got that all kinds of wrong. Lil Wayne, numbers don't lie. Thank you, Lil Wayne. Also, Tom for 52.com, TOMFOR52.com. There's no quitting Queter, Thomas Daniel Queter for Senate, New York State Senate, 52nd District. Thomas Daniel Queter, he does not run and still runs better than the government. He can't run because he's in a wheelchair. And he and his wheelchair are still and vastly more efficient than the government. Tom for 52.com, TOMFOR52.com. Now, there's 36 comments. So many. It's incredible. Yes, Justin, thank you. People that are already paying attention actually are paying attention, are set up already. Yep, people are doing that. JP, I'm shocked that the corporate press isn't covering that backup, but horses get banned on the border before they even address it. That's exactly right. They saw their opportunity to capitalize on a distraction, and they did the thing because the media covers. There's so many comments. I can't possibly go through them and keep everyone, especially those of y'all that which are reaching to 1,000 already on Anchor FM. Oh wow, look at that. I left Muddied Bayou up there. That's pretty funny. Not a big deal. Cajun libertarian. So, I don't have any calls from Anchor. All right. Yep. Moving on. Last segment. We have covered all of our sponsors. Thank you, each and every one of you that sponsored the show. That's incredible. That's amazing. Thank you so much for all of the sponsors. If you want to be a sponsor of the show, reach out to me in private, either on the Cajun Libertarian page or if you know another avenue. Then it's a very cheap price, and I advertise them a lot. And all of my sponsors are now getting a ton, or they're all getting feedback as to it's working. And so contact me if you want to be a sponsor. On to our next segment. This is going to be a fun one. Let's see, real quick. Third try. DefyThePower.com. Diabetic friendly throat wetter. Almost always Powerade Zero. Tonight I have blackberry lemonade. Let's get into what we have going on in our healthcare system. New York. Last, New York hospitals fire suspend staff who refuse COVID vaccine. Why? We know the reason, right? We know the the excuse that they have. But let's talk about this for a second. New York's new vaccine mandate, which goes into effect Monday, makes it necessary for workers in New York's hospitals and nursing homes to have received at least one dose of a COVID-19 vaccine. Employees working at in-home care, hospice, and adult care facilities need to be vaccinated by October 7th. Um, those are different than the medical staff. Medical staff has, or they're all medical staff, but the hospital staff has to do the thing by tonight. New York hospitals on Monday began firing or suspending healthcare workers for defying a state order to get the COVID-19 vaccine, and resulting staff shortages promoted some hospitals to postpone elective surgeries or curtail services. So they stopped providing health care for some folks because some of the staff wasn't vaccinated. So again, you're going to hear this come out very soon. Like, all these people died because the nurses wouldn't get vaccinated. No, they died because you made a mandate that wouldn't allow for enough hospital staff to take care of the people that needed health care. But this is what they're going to do. It's the same story, and people are going to buy it. They're going to buy it. So that's funny. New York City Mayor Bill de Blasio told a news conference, man, who cares? Kick rocks. Bill de Blasio has been the highlight of my kick rocks during the whole kick rock segment because that dude is an absolute clown. He has like the IQ of a deflated soccer ball. He talks to people like they're children. I can't stand Bill de Blasio. Kick rocks. New York City deserves better. Vote Stacey Pressman. So, moving on, because Bill de Blasio sucks. And the chick that just replaced Cuomo isn't really better. The lady, the woman. But before we get to her, a spokeswoman for Catholic Health, one of the largest healthcare providers in Western New York, said it had reached full compliance. Excuse me. Counting staff members who had been vaccinated, those with exemptions, and some who had been suspended without pay. The spokeswoman, Joanne Kavanaugh, I think that's what it looks like, refused to say how many workers had been suspended or granted exemptions due to medical or religious reasons. Why? Why would you tell us how many people there were? It's just drenched in conspiracy. Oh, by the way, New York won't extend unemployment benefits to healthcare workers fired over the COVID-19 vaccine. That's incredible. They're just, you're going to fire them for not getting vaccinated and then literally made it law that they can't even get unemployment. It's incredible. I'm not going to keep going through all of this. I do want to play something for you real quick. I want to play for you this new Governor Hochul in New York and listen to what exactly she has to say.
Today is a significant deadline. It reflects my priority to just stop this virus dead in its tracks. We are over it. We are done. We want to move on. And the only
That's not going to happen. That's not the way it works. Stop believing this. It doesn't work that way. You don't stop a virus dead in its tracks. It's going to run its course. That's the point of the virus. It runs its course. It's going to adapt. It's going to change itself. It's not looking to kill everyone because every dead host doesn't amplify its ability to regenerate itself. It wants to make you in. cough and sneeze and get itself over so that it can replicate and reproduce. Anybody still believing that zero COVID is a possibility at this point, it feels like they're lost, right? I mean, let's be honest. This isn't that's not a thing. It's not an option. Zero COVID doesn't exist, and it's not going to exist ever. So we need anytime this kind of language comes out, we need to attack it immediately because she stop this virus dead in its track. You're not gonna do that. It doesn't matter what you do. You have no control over that.
The only way we can do that is to ensure that everyone is vaccinated, but particularly individuals who are taking care of the people who are sick. My job number one in this state is to keep people safe. Clear, simple. There's no way to cloud that. There's no gray area. I need to keep people in this state safe.
Wrong. We've already talked about this. You already know this. No, it's not, but people still buy it. They still buy it. Keep telling them that's wrong. No, your job is not to keep people safe. Your job is to uphold the rights of the citizens of New York, to maintain and protect their constitutional freedoms. That's your job.
And we'll be nation leading with our mandate, which strikes at midnight tonight when everyone is expected in a hospital in the state of New York or a healthcare facility to have been vaccinated. I will be signing an executive order to give me the emergency powers necessary to address these shortages where they occur. That's going to allow me to.
So we all know what executive orders are, but just the audacity to hear it out loud. You know what I mean? That just drives me nuts. She says it out. I'm going to give myself the power. Incredible.
Deploy the National Guard who are medically trained, deploy people who've been retired who may have had a license lapse, bring in people from elsewhere. That is not my first position, though, my friends. My desire is to have the people who've been out there continue to work in their jobs, work in them safely, and to all the other healthcare workers who are vaccinated, they also deserve to know that the people they're working with will not get them sick.
Then what's the point of the vaccine? And they do this. It's all the time. And people buy it. They deserve to know that the people that they're working with aren't going to get them sick. And she's referring to the people that are allowed by the government, as if they're supposed to be able to allow that in the first place, to be protected from those who are now unallowed to earn a paycheck because they decided to make a medical choice. And they spent 4 or 5 years, 6 years, 10, 14 years learning to be in that profession. This is incredible. All right. I want to go ahead and get through this because it is overtime. We are at an hour. And so let me polish this off with don't forget that those who are fired, medical staff that have put in all this work, will not receive unemployment. Here's the next kicker. Don't forget, obviously, that she said she's going to bring in the National Guard to fill the gaps and fill the voids. So now you got the Army working in private, quote unquote, private hospitals. Raise your hand if you know that that's not going to end there. Obviously, I can't see any of your hands, but I can see mine. The Army being deployed into the United States to work in hospitals to recover for the people that you fired in the private sector because they didn't bend the knee. In the healthcare profession, it gets a little worse. No, I don't know. I mean, they're both on equal level. Hatchell says religious exemption is not a legitimate excuse to avoid COVID-19 vaccine. Hatchell said Hochul, sorry, Hochul said her health department deliberately excluded religious exemptions from the mandate, which requires all healthcare workers to be vaccinated by today. Yep, today. She said while the state's attorneys will be arguing the case in court on tomorrow, her personal opinion is that a religious exemption is not a legitimate excuse. So now, 5 seconds of backtrack. She's told you you're going to be fired. Well, the government has said you're going to be fired if you don't take this vaccine, regardless of whether you need it or not. And then they say, we don't care about your religion. We're going to step on that too. What else do you need to define tyranny by? I mean, this is tyranny. I mean, look what you think the history books acted like all the time, reading about history and tyranny. But there's a lot of the subject matter that leaves this part out because it ain't that bad looking. It's not entertaining. But here we are. This is tyranny. I mean, what's the next step? Tell me. What happens after this? Hochul said, New Yorkers have the right to receive health care without worrying that the person attending them might be unvaccinated and more likely to spread the virus. Then what does it matter if you're vaccinated? Make your mind up. Does it work? Or are you afraid of the unvaccinated? Because the two are mutually exclusive. And now we're firing people and bringing them into court over it. Pick one. It works or it doesn't. And then she goes, I'm not even going to go into that because I would get so mad. I wouldn't. She then goes on to, she mandates masks for everybody under 2 years old or at 2 years old in every daycare, talking about how dangerous it is for the children. No, it's not. This is disgusting. Not that Cuomo wasn't awful. I can't stand Cuomo. This isn't better. But we knew that. The honeymoon was short lived. We knew that, right? It was a short lived honeymoon for New York. Sorry. Right back to worse. At least she isn't sexually assaulting women yet. But that is a positive. It's incredible. If you're watching the national news, the scariest announcements coming out every single morning are the number of children now contracting COVID. That doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if kids contract it because they don't get sick. Tell your friends to pay attention. This is incredible. So, I had if you saw my notes, it's just insane. I can't even cover. I'd have to do this 5 days a week to actually cover everything that needs to be done. I can't, and I'm already hour 6 in. And I try to do this, I do this twice a week, and then the Cajun Eskimo show. Wednesday night we'll have Ashley Shade on, who's running for office in Massachusetts. And this will be the last little major push that we get for her. Don't forget that last week or in the week before, I think, in a couple of, yeah, exactly. There's so much to cover. I will be shortening all of my I shortened all of my interviews to once a week, which was Wednesday, and then I did a beta testing on shortening the interview itself during these types of shows, and that worked out very well. A lot of people aren't watching full hour interviews anymore, and so starting this week, we'll do about 15 minutes, and then every Wednesday I'll bring on a candidate or an author or somebody already in office. But every Wednesday I'll have an interview, but all of those interviews will now be about 15 minutes long because I want the maximum exposure for every person that's running for office and has authored a book or whatever the cause is for that day. I want the maximum exposure, and the hour-long interviews just aren't doing any. They're not getting a whole lot of traction as of late. So we're gonna switch it up. I want maximum exposure. So thank you all very much for answering all those internet questions in the comments. That's great. A lot of stuff I don't know. I'm telling you, I'm super tech ignorant. And so I will see you Wednesday night. I'll have Ashley Shade on to get her the resources she needs. Right. And that's another thing too. A lot of people that just watch the hour-long videos, they're just supporters and advocates and volunteers for that person. I want to make sure that we garner as much attention because, look, if 20 new people watch the show during Ashley's 15-minute interview on Wednesday, 20 new people, and they donate $5 a piece, it multiplies. So we're going to do the best that we can to cover everything possible. We're going to do the best that we can to volunteer and support the people that we want to support and the causes that we want to support. And I'm going to try to do that the best way that I can understand what's happening with this brand in the moment, which is incredible. And it would be nothing without you. You are all phenomenal. I thank you so much for being here. You are fantastic. I can tell you that this has been the one of the greatest audiences and fastest growing brands with an audience because y'all are so committed that a lot of people have ever seen. And that's a fact. And that is 100% because of y'all. And I can't thank you enough. I love you very much. I will see you Wednesday night. Same Cajun time, same Cajun channel. I'm out.